guys, welcome to the Sports Lounge on Elevated TV. We took just a short break, but coronavirus has got nothing on us, but it's got a little thing on most of the sporting events in the world. Liverpool's wait for that Premier League title might just be on hold, and so many other sporting events have been put on hold just because of the pandemic disease, and that's going to be the major talking point for today. And as usual, I'm not always alone. I'm with a very special guest. I have the precious Omosue, the mind demon himself. I call him the mind demon because the way he brings out numbers, he really surprises even me myself. That's why we've been doing this for a very long time. Hi, Precious, how are you doing today?
I'm good, thank you.
Then I have the man who calls himself the King of Boys, even though the King of Boys didn't win any award yesterday at the AMVCA, but he's definitely won the award for the best dress today. How are you doing, Oladimji Lawal?
Well, I'm fine, thank you. It's nice to be here.
It's lovely to see you. I love your little costume here.
Yeah, of course, you keep it simple.
Keep it simple.
And as casual as you can.
Well, it's lovely to have you here. Just before we get into the topics for the day, I know you're a Manchester United fan, so you should know we're already good friends, just like that. But what brought you to Manchester United?
My father has always been a Manchester United fan, so I was born into a Manchester United family, so you can say. And I grew up watching Manchester United with him, and of course, I just have to carry the family business.
I like that. That's nicely put. But just before we push on again, quickly, your favorite moment as a United fan so far?
Well, the favorite goal, funny enough, wasn't even by a Manchester United player.
Oh, really?
Yes. Oh, well, anyway, it was my favorite moment actually was when we won the Champions League. Chelsea.
07-08.
Can you imagine?
He's a Chelsea fan.
I see. And that goal that John Terry missed, the best moment in my life.
Well, thank you very much, Oladimeji. It's lovely to have you here.
Same here, brother.
Well, let's get into it, Precious. COVID-19.
Yeah.
Not Manchester City, not Manchester United, not Leicester, not Arsenal, not Chelsea, but COVID-19 is posing a big threat to Liverpool's first title win in over 20 years.
Why always Liverpool?
What's your take on the whole situation?
Well, without wanting to delve into the controversies surrounding the whole COVID issue itself, there's been a whole lot of talk of if the season should be declared completely null and void, if Liverpool should be handed the title and all the rest of them. So I want to assume what you're asking me is, what's my position on that, right? Yeah. Okay, so if that's the question, let's take a step backwards a little bit. This isn't the first time that the league has been suspended. In the year 1939-40, the league in England was suspended because of the World War, right? And I think Arsenal fans, I don't know how many Arsenal fans witnessed that, but it was a situation where Arsenal and Spurs had to share ground share. Can you imagine Spurs and Arsenal playing in the same stadium? Okay, so, but what they did then was, well, for obvious reasons, you couldn't have large gatherings of people for security reasons. Now it's health reasons. We had a lot of footballers then volunteering to go become maybe paramilitary, military men, soldiers to defend their country. Arsenal lost quite a number of guys to that. But then what the FA in England did was they suspended the regular league. However, they came up with something. You and I can tell the effects that the absence of football has had over the past weekend in every one of us.
It's been disastrous for me personally.
I've been sleeping so it has grounded a whole lot of things. We can almost not exhaust the consequences, financial and all the rest of them, from the guys who sell merchandise at the stadiums and all the rest of them. Yeah. So what they did then was, instead of a complete shutdown, they had what they called the wartime league. Okay, so you could have players come from regional teams, form the wartime league, and the games back then were considered more as friendly matches than competitive games. Okay. That is why Newcastle had a particular player back then, the name can't readily come to mind now, who ordinarily should have been the higher all-time top scorer for Newcastle United with 238 goals. Alan Shearer currently holds that position with 206 goals. The 38 goals that guy scored were scored in the wartime league.
Where the league was
And then it was agreed that those records should not be counted as personal achievements back then. So I would say, well, the league till April 3, tentatively, is on hold. But it will be more interesting to see what happens after then. Most likely, it's still mathematically possible for Liverpool to lose the league, isn't it?
It is.
You never can say never.
Liverpool do have the record of them losing.
Yeah. So some Liverpool fans will say, I've seen somebody say they will go on riot. Very funny, really. Yeah, but as far as it is mathematically possible, and it is remotely possible that Liverpool, they are not title winners yet, then when the league, the decision makers sit down and decide what to do with the league, then we cannot cry foul, really. Because if you are talking about winning the title, what about a team like Sheffield United, for example? I think they have one outstanding match. Yeah. They are a point behind United. Okay, so if, for example, we decide to say hand Liverpool the title and then everybody remains in their positions, you pick Champions League teams with the current standings and all that, then a team like Sheffield United will say we are a point behind Manchester United. So what happens? We have one game outstanding. Yeah. So what happens?
Even the teams in the relegation battle.
Are you going to relegate Bournemouth, for example? You know, so things like a whole lot of things like this, I think would most likely be better served with a somebody will say, they'll say it's a lot there. It's a Chelsea fan. They should just shut the whole thing down, scrap the season.
Well, Dimitri, we're using the EPL as the point of this thing, because I mean all the top 5 leagues have been postponed. One of West Ham's directors has come out to say definitely the Premier League has to be called off. It has to be rendered null and void. Some reports have even come that there's a 75% chance that the league will be considered null and void. But what's your own take on this? Do you think you should follow the because there is a precedence?
Yeah.
So do you think that precedent should be followed?
Okay, like you said, the precedent has been set already. So the normal thing to do is just to follow it. But if you like, you say I'm not being objective here because as a Manchester United fan, Liverpool and Manchester, they are great rivals. Great rivals. So I'm going to be completely sentimental here. I think the league should be cancelled. They can't just afford to win the league.
No, but Precious.
Yeah.
So another report came out that said if 14 teams can come out to say yes, the league should be ended, that the league will be ended. It's still just rumors for now. But
of course, that's democracy now.
Yeah, but do you think 14 teams are going to what do you think are the major 14 teams?
To be very, very honest here, I think there will be a whole lot of politicking going on at the background right now. Yeah. I mean, I'll be very excited as a Chelsea fan. Apologies, Liverpool fans, really. Yeah,
no, because it's really unfair.
You know the kind of satisfaction when in recent times all the whole talk about VVD being the greatest ever centre back and Henderson being the world's not, the whole thing just went down. Man, imagine if they win the league. Yeah, but then to let me try and wear a human face. Really, Liverpool have worked really hard. They could possibly win the league with 107 points. That's unprecedented. And if they end up winning the league, we cannot argue against the fact that it has been deserved. There's the question of did they win it because they were absolutely swashbuckling, or they were just too good? No, I still think Liverpool of last season would trump this Liverpool of this season. Flawless victory. Okay, yeah. All the other teams have conspired to be absolute trash. Yeah, sorry, Chelsea. Yeah, but been cock. Yeah, so I would say they deserve it if the whole politics plays out in their favor. because this is, let's be very, very honest. There's a whole lot of politics going on right now. Yeah, I'm very sure of that. The people who have been talking about the 75% politics, they are all Premier League CEOs. So it means there are things, where I come from, they say meeting not just the end for the meeting venue. There is meeting before the meeting. There is meeting during the meeting. There is meeting after the meeting. So yes, they will converge. But then there are some people who we don't just know yet. But I'm sure the decision most likely has been taken already. If it's going to be scrapped. If they win, if they decide to award them the title, oh well, I'm good. I'll be very, very excited for some Liverpool players and some fans who may not ever in their lifetime ever taste a Premier League victory, Premier League title win.
Presh, I think you should keep your honesty to yourself. Yes, let's be factual. The precedence has been set. Why not follow it and let it play out? Liverpool cannot afford to win the league. Mathematically, it is possible for them to still lose the league, isn't it?
Yes, very true.
Being called up
they still
at
do
this
have Man
stage,
City to play.
Yeah.
of course. So being called up at this stage, you're not being unfair to them. Yes, they've been good all through the season.
This guy is the king of boys. He's got cold heart.
But just before we leave the talk on coronavirus, the Premier League was like one of the last leagues. It was one of the last leagues to call off, and they had to have cases coming from Arteta, from Odoi. Do you think that delayed reaction wasn't good enough from the Premier League, considering that players elsewhere in the discussion? Should they have called it off the same time when other leagues were calling off?
To be honest, they've just given us a Buhari kind of approach. Because if they had called this thing off before the time they did, probably chances are that Arteta wouldn't have been confirmed coronavirus positive. The other Chelsea player may not have been positive as well. But because, of course, they don't want to lose money, they want to keep people together for the business reason only. That is what I think. And look at what has happened today.
Pressure, same thought.
Yeah, I would share same thought with him. Things like this are not, the Premier League, they say is the best. I think it's just the richest. And they probably sat down and said, let's look at the economic ramifications of this thing. This is not, we're not talking about Nigeria here where people just sit down in the boardroom and make decisions anyhow. These people must have probably thought, let's look beyond the TV rights. This thing puts food on the table of a whole lot of people. Like I mentioned earlier, somebody benefits from selling train tickets on match days, the kind of boost that comes in. Yeah, the people who sell maybe drinks around, the pubs. Yeah. Let's not even talk about the punters, the bookmakers as well. So look at the effect of all these things. They had to settle down and consider all that. So yeah, in this case, I'll cut the Premier League some slack and say they needed to think well before making the decision.
So thank you guys. That's the first session. When we'll be coming back, we'll be talking about some football-related activities that we've missed over the past few weeks, and also the King of Boys will be talking about the new King of Boys in Manchester United, Bruno Fernandes. See you soon.
Yeah, hello. I am Giovanni Elba, ex-FC Bayern player, and I win Champions League 2001, and keep watching LB TV.
Voila, it's your boy Pablo. Yeah, and you're welcome to Session with Pablo. This is the MC. Welcome to Everything with Alison.
Welcome to the Sports Lounge on Elegbete TV.
This is Swiss Cook. You're welcome to the Talking Point Show. So what makes a good story? Something that makes everything around me want to write. What are the challenges you face as an upcoming artist? Nothing good comes easy, my brother. No, because
in science you have to understand what we're doing, how they got there.
Ndidi is the best defensive midfielder in the world right now.
Ndidi deserves to be on that platform.
It's Elegbete TV Radio.
Well, welcome back, guys. Before we'll be moving to Precious, who is going to be giving us a detailed review about some of the games from the Champions League. Our guest here is actually a team manager in one of the clubs that participated in the Lagos State FA Cup, Part FC. I feel honored to be sitting down next to you because it's not easy being a team manager. It can't be.
What a privilege it is as well to be sitting right here on the Better TV.
So we just want a little bit of an insight into how it's been, what it is being a team manager, how your team went in that Lagos State FA Cup, where you guys finished, and how it was generally?
Well, we've participated in Lagos State FA Cup not once, not twice. So I don't know which you want me to talk about. You know.
Well, give us the one where you were most successful.
Of course, that's what's going to be my talking point here. You know, the team is being held by former Super Eagles defender by name Patrick Ovie.
Is that where you got the part from?
Yes, exactly. You can say that again. So I happen to be the team manager. And of course, you know, my name is Oladimji Lawal. So sometimes when you go to the glass house in Lagos here to do your registration and you go late to pay your registration fee and they say, no, we can't allow you. We can't allow you. Whose team is that? Patrick Ovie. They hear the name and they say, okay, what's your name, sir? Oladimji Lawal. Mostly on phone. So when they hear Oladimji Lawal, Patrick Ovie say, no, this one, they got to be there. Of course, they don't know the Oladimji Lawal. They don't know. So I just try to impersonate. And he plays that to our advantage. So basically, the Lagos State FA Cup competition has been a fantastic tournament that sells, but it's actually an avenue where we use that platform to, you know, exhibit the skills that these boys have. We prepare them for the greater stage. About 2 years ago, we got to the quarterfinals, which has been our best outing in that tournament, actually. And there's a lot of revelation from that team. Of course, before you could get to the quarterfinal of Lagos State FA Cup, where you have more than 150 teams participating, my brother, that's a massive feat to achieve. And to God be the glory, we have about 3 to 4 of those players that have gone to Europe now, I can tell you. And we are really grateful to Lagos State for organizing such competitions. And we have about 2 of them as well that have gone to other clubs in Nigeria. And it is because we participated in that tournament. They were able to see these boys because it brings both teams from the Nigerian leagues together. They play, they get to see new talents, and they invite them over for trials. When you see players that you like, you invite them over and if they pass trial, and of course they get the job. So Lagos State FA Cup has really been a fantastic one for our boys over here.
No, it's brilliant having you over here because, I mean, in the cases of this coronavirus affecting the whole of Europe now, I mean, we should be watching this. This is what we should be watching in Nigeria. Right?
Yeah, but
Nigerian Premier League.
It's actually not. The Lagos State FA Cup is actually not on now.
Okay.
Registration is ongoing as I speak. I think in the next 1 month, the tournament will commence again. Yeah. So
where do you think Firm FC would finish by this time?
Well, I don't think I want to tell you that. I want you to come and watch.
I will be there for a game.
Why does it sound like Jose Mourinho?
And he's so confident and cocky. Like.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, thank you very much, Oladimji. First, let's get into the Champions League games in the past week. You said that your best reach was the quarterfinals. Well, Neymar has spearheaded PSG's move to the quarterfinals, and if the coronavirus would not suspend the consider the UCL null and void. What's PSG's chances?
You know, there's still that carrot dangling over the UCL itself.
As well, yeah.
Yeah, the possibility is still there as well. So,
but unlike the Premier League, the UCL does not have a precedent for this.
Yes, no.
Exactly.
At least I do not know about that. So let me not be make a very, very categorical statement without proof. Okay. Neymar scored a header. So that's something special. Yeah. And I'm happy for PSG that they for me are one of the teams I hope win the competition for all the investments and all the rest of them that the owners have put into it. Yeah, I hope they win the Champions League. But I was unhappy with the PSG team for one thing. Did you see the slight dig
at post-match celebration
at Haaland?
Honestly, if I should give you my take, I thought that was just all banter. People were claiming he's 19-year-old and all of that, but it's just banter. He just before the second leg, he posted, said, Paris is my town. So that could have easily riled up the PSG.
In my head, I see him ending up at PSG one day.
Wow.
Yeah. If they don't get banned like Man City, I see him ending up at PSG one day. He'll probably be teammates with Mbappe.
Yeah.
And then he will remember this one. Said you were taking a dig at me then. So yeah, for me the UCL knockout round so far has been interesting. It has not panned out any different from what I think would have happened. I expected that Atletico Madrid will knock Liverpool out of the Champions League. Yes, I did. I did from the West Ham game. You could see that the Klopp effect had started to manifest. Klopp effect being the kind of high metal football that Klopp plays, and I want to major on Liverpool really because it was more like an upset. Atletico Madrid went to Anfield, they beat Liverpool home and away. Is this your Anfield? yeah. So now, usually with the kind of style Jurgen Klopp deploys, it requires high intensity, high octane football, and these guys are humans. I've been on a forum, a Chelsea forum, where Liverpool were playing, and the fans on the site were like, "Are these guys on steroids or something?" You see the way they run, and there's really no creative player in quotes in that, but they just run you down, like they bully you into submission. You know, you can't sustain that kind of thing for a long time. You can sustain it over a year, 2 years. But from the third year, your bodies begin to break down. This kind of thing happened to we saw guys like Mario Götze at Dortmund, and somebody signed him for 30+ million euros and thought this guy was the next Maradona. Unfortunately, signed him at the end of the cycle. The guy has never been the same since. Yeah. Okay, I fear for the likes of Mo Salah, who even from the start of the season had looked like the average player. That X factor that he used to be. He wasn't.
Compared to that of last
So now I think Liverpool fans get to appreciate Sadio Mane more. Yeah. Then bringing it back to the Champions League, you could see fatigue had set in from the West Ham game where they struggled to win. Yeah. So and then they lost to Atletico Madrid. People said they were ultra defensive. Atletico Madrid, they are an efficient team. They just did what they had to do to win that game. And then they came to Anfield. They had a game plan. You can afford to sit deep when you have a world-class goalkeeper. Yeah. They had Jan Oblak to count on. So they sat deep. They did their defensive job. And it was more like you're about to say Simeone was just bringing out he subbed Diego Costa. He was just bringing on the subs, and they were very, very effective. Yeah, it paid off actually. They knew that if we can drag these guys to 120 minutes, there is no way this Liverpool team will be able to sustain that ridiculous amount of energy levels. And then they hit them. The soccer punch was the second goal, which I feel, I've had some conversation with some Liverpool fans. I feel VVD could have stopped that goal from going in. And that's where this whole starts about him not getting dribbled past. It irks me every time I hear it.
Because he seems like
he's
physically defending. Yeah, but it seems like he's running away from.
Yeah, I saw in the replays. It was Henderson, I think, that dashed down, that tried to close down Morata. It was two Atletico Madrid players attacking 3 Liverpool players. Henderson became the 4th player. There was no reason to shadow mark the guy till Morata brought the ball close to the edge of the 18 where he squared to the guy who finally nailed Liverpool and broke Anfield hearts. Okay, so I'm sure Madrid fans are happy.
Of course they are. Let's put a hold on precious tactical brilliance there. And Dimeji, as much as Liverpool players were probably tired at that game, it was a tale of 2 goalkeepers, world-class goalkeeper at one end and one not so world-class. Adrian, how much was this mistake costly for Liverpool in that game?
They're out of the Champions League.
This guy is mean.
And I'm happy for the carrier spirits that was still invested in him. So, glory, Manchester United, I must say. They can never do treble.
They can never do it.
Never.
Well, anyways, we likened you to Jose Mourinho, and Jose Mourinho is also out of the Champions League, and I'm sure he's someone that he really welcomed this postponement of the Premier League, because he'll probably have Kane by the time he's back, or Son, one of them back, but does he really have an excuse? Yeah, we know two of his best attacking outlets are probably out, but is that really enough? He's come out and he's told Wenger before that football is a game of sport. Injuries are part of the game, you deal with it. So this should be the same comment directed to him, right?
Before he took the job, he was aware of the kind of players he had in that team. And of course, if one is not playing, there will be a backup player to play for him. So there's no excuse. Mourinho's era is gradually
getting over.
So for me, Mourinho doesn't have that magical touch anymore. It doesn't.
Precious. There have been talks of him integrating Parrott into the team, one of their youth strikers. He did it probably once in the FA Cup against Norwich, and the guy missed the penalty. But do you think he has done much to give him confidence to even play at that? Because he's using Dele Alli as a false nine. I don't think Dele as a false nine works, because it's not creative enough. Yeah. For you to play the false nine, you need to be creative to bring in the wingers or the midfielders. But Dele Alli is not creative enough to do that. So has Mourinho done enough?
Talking about Parrot, I don't think that will be one of Mourinho's best pets at this moment. Yeah, you can't have Mourinho and Parrot. Okay, yeah. For Ali is a limited player. He is a wannabe Frank Lampard. Yeah, is the kind of that kind of guy who likes to ghost into the box and take advantage of the space left behind by the centre forward, who must have dragged away the centre backs due to his movement, something which Kane does excellently well. Now, if you are bringing in Dele Alli as a centre forward, Dele Alli is not the most physically imposing figure, and we all know Ose likes that kind of physically imposing player as his centre forward. Yeah, so you bring in Ali, who is not the kind of guy who will hold up play for you. He's not the kind of guy who will drop like Roberto Firmino, yeah, and then bring in others into play and let others flourish. He's the guy who wants somebody else will make him look good. Yeah, so I think Jose Mourinho, if I will be fair on him, his hands are tied at the moment. I won't really judge Jose this season. I don't think Jose suddenly became a bad coach overnight. I think that what is just showing, and this is where Jose himself has to take responsibility, is that times are changing, values are changing. Jose has always been the kind of coach who likes generals. Jose made a statement sometime. He said, if I have 11 Aspilicuetas, I'll win the Champions League for Chelsea. Yeah, that tells you probably see it as a careless statement, but he was more or less transmitting his value. He was sending a message that defines his kind of person. He's the kind of guy who wants warriors. He'd rather have grafters who are willing to shed blood than a silky number 10 who likes to show off on the pitch. So let's give Jose Mourinho one more season and see how well he does. If he doesn't do well, then I would suggest for him to morph into an international manager. Jose Mourinho is the kind of guy who can go on a stretch of 6-7 games and win the World Cup with an average team. That would be his best route back into the elite circle.
Well, thank you very much, Precious, on that. From what you can see, it seems like Jose Mourinho is fading out, probably. But anyways, we've come to the end of the show. Thank you so much, Oladimeji Lawal. Like we said, you won't tell me what you think about what part FC will reach. I'll be there to see that.
I'll tell you. Of course, they're the Galacticos of this entire local government. You can make your findings.
All right. We'll be monitoring the coronavirus situation closely, and we hope football will come back pretty soon. Well, we've come to the end of the show, and just before we sign out, we need to take an heartfelt regards to those who lost lives and property in the First bombing. We don't even know if it's a bombing or even it's just a pipeline
explosion.
Pipeline explosion. But 1 minute silence for those who lost their lives.